Yo, 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 welcome to another installment, Football Gawds. Today we're gonna mix it up with some Khoisan Etarake. Ntokozo. How you doing, man? And Guleba, how you doing?
All right, how are you, man? Where
I'm
does that
good.
where does that come from?
I don't know, I just thought about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, gentlemen, yeah, it's another exciting weekend of English Premier League. I think we can start with the most important match for this weekend, and the most important match has to be the Liverpool game. Considering that they beat Man United 7-0 last week and ended up like exhausting all their goals for the season in one game, they managed to fail to even record a goal against Bournemouth, a team that was deemed surplus for the EPL, a team that was deemed easy for Arsenal, you know? So
Which
for Liverpool to be beaten 1-0 by Bournemouth is quite interesting. Any thoughts,
uh,
Dogo?
yeah, dude, I think it's typical Liverpool of this season, you know. They get a very good convincing result, and then you think that okay, Liverpool is back now, they're going to kick on, and then the very next game they go and lose a game that they shouldn't lose. If you guys remember, Liverpool at the start of this season beat Bournemouth, same team. They beat them 9-0. So
Yeah.
to lose 1-0 against the team that you whooped 9-0 just a few months ago is a bit crazy, you know. And, you know, we've always had excuses for Liverpool throughout the season. They had a lot of injuries and they were very unlucky, to be fair, I thought, with the number of injuries that they've had. And they still have a few players out, but for the most part, I mean, most of their squad is back, you know what I mean? So they don't really have excuses. Van Dijk is there, all their attackers are there. I think the only players that they're missing really is like your Thiago and your Henderson, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, they still have a team good enough to be bottom of the table Bournemouth, you know. So yeah, but I guess this is the thing, right? Like you mentioned, like when Arsenal come from behind to win, it's like this is the game you should be winning. So my thing is like people need to make up their minds when they say Premier League is the toughest league in the world because anyone can beat everyone, blah 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 blah. This is why we love it. Fine. Or we must, and then those same people will be like, when Arsenal beats these teams, like, it's not a real test, it's a small team. So it's like, which one is it, guys? Is it the toughest league
Mm,
where everyone can beat everyone, or is it a thing where there's big team and the small team, and the big team should always beat the small teams? So that's just my thing. But yeah, man, very very weird game and results. Salah missed one of the worst penalty misses I've ever seen.
mm.
Uh, yeah, I really don't have much to say, but yeah, it's been Liverpool season basically in a nutshell.
I mean, like just before I asked Debo to speak, you mentioned that they're missing a Thiago. Is he even integral to the squad? He's never been, let's be honest, because he's always injured. So they're actually not missing anyone. Some may argue that Luis Diaz, but Luis Diaz has never carried Liverpool. All the players that have carried Liverpool are on the field and they are playing and they fit and they just lost. It's as simple as that. Dave, your
Nice.
thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually, just seeing that result, just the irony, like oh, the way Liverpool like clapped Man United. I was like saying, hey, Liverpool are back. You seeing the Liverpool that we used to. But I'm so pissed as well that after beating Man United 7-0, they go lose to the bottom of the league team 1-0. But I guess it's some consolation that hey, anyone can get beat in this league. And I guess it's yeah, I don't know a lot of Liverpool supporters anyway, so I wouldn't say it shut them up, from the got them off their high horse. But like Tuntogo's point, the EPL. I don't know if someone between the two of you, one of you all mentioned that these last few games are gonna be the toughest because now you're versing teams that are fighting for relegation, teams that are fighting for top four. And people, I know we haven't got to Man United today, but we just seeing that the tail end, even like Man City against Crystal Palace, like this is where it's telling. This is where you can actually see teams are fighting for different objectives. It's the business end. So this is where we see, yeah, the real league coming out, the competitiveness that Dogozo speaks about. This is where we see it, come to the fore. And yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more surprises, not even surprises, but I'm expecting a lot of results like these in the last few weeks.
Yeah, man. I mean, we left with what, 11 games, if I'm not mistaken. So we are bound to see some upsets, some interesting games, considering people are fighting for different objectives, as you say. I mean, as you have said, right? But you know what pisses me off about Liverpool losing? You beat Man United 7-0. In fact, the point is it's not the 7-0 score for me. You beat Man United, derailing Man United from top four. In fact, not top four, title. Like the title, they were in the title race. Had they won that game, Man United was in the title race for sure. It was cemented. You beat them, and I don't see the objective for them beating Man United because it doesn't put them in top four. They stay in Europa. That's the first thing. Secondly, now you've put an entire team that was on a proper rebuild ready to actually challenge. Now it's falling apart. Okay, let me not say falling apart, but like now Man United is underperforming. For me, that just felt so selfish, but it's football, right? So it's competitive. It is what it is. But like objectively, I'm like, Klopp should have just given Ten Hag that game, man. Because what's the point? I mean, like for what? To what end? Why did Liverpool win that game?
No, firstly, these are your biggest rivals, right? Like whether Liverpool is in the second division or whatever, or friendly, you never want to lose against your biggest rival. So, like, it's not a trophy to beat your biggest rival, but rest assured, because someone is saying, okay, it's still 3 points, it's still 3 points. And I hear that, right? It's right. It is still just 3 points, whether you win 7-0 or 1-0 or whatever the case is. But a result like that is a result that you like. I can roast level for the rest of our lives about that. You know what I mean? Like I can be like, yo, you guys got 7-0.
Are you sure?
And fair enough. You can look. I mean, you can roast me about 8-2 for the rest of my life. Yes, I hear you because I know that's what you wanted to say, right? So I'm just saying, like, yes, it's not a trophy, but football, like, especially from like a fan point of view, we don't win the medals and stuff, right? At the end of the day, it's the players who win the trophies and the medals and stuff like that. So us as a fan, yes, we celebrate with them as well and stuff like that. But the real joy from us, I think, and maybe this is just me, comes from bragging rights towards our friends and stuff. Be like, yo, my team is better than your team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And to us, from a fan point of view, your team losing 7-0, fine, I'm not a Liverpool fan, so I can't really claim it. But I'm just saying with you, I can always just roast my Man United friends. Like, yo, you guys got ripped. I can roast my Chelsea fans. You guys got ripped because that's what it's about. It's going to work every Monday and kind of thing, So I hear you about saying that, look, it was all for nothing, I guess, in the greater scheme of things. But from a fans POV, I'm here for it. I'm here for all of
that. Okay. Fair enough. While we're on the topic, Man United drew 0-0 today. Hey, Nkulego, Any thoughts?
Hey, you see this Europa thing, guys? No, hey, I don't know, man. Whenever Europa, it's not the same. Like, just think about it, right? If you come from, okay, I'll bet you're at home, but you have recovery for like 2 days, then you play on like Sunday, and I don't think we have the most expensive squad. Like, in Man United, you drop Casemiro, Fernandes, Rashford, yeah, one of those defenders. You already have a weak team. I don't think and then also Europa, I think he's also playing his best team because he's trying to win trophies. But you could see the energy, like the press wasn't there. They ran out of ideas. It was just a flat performance. It was missing, like you can see like a player like Ericsson not being there. Like the our only outlet of ideas was like Fernandez, and that red card from Casemiro already put us on the back foot. So
Yeah.
it was one of those
Is that
games.
a red card,
It was a
bro?
funny match. It was a funny. I
Sorry,
didn't.
just to jump in that level. Is that a red card for you?
The thing
All
is,
bias aside.
it's hard. Like when your stats are that, when you freeze it. I think when you freeze stuff, it always looks worse, right? But from the initial tackle, it looked like one of those. It's just that he missed the ball and got his ankle there. But I think if he got the
No, he got the ball first, and that's why I'm saying is
And
it a
then
red card because he gets the ball first and like a good chunk of the ball, not just like a scrape. He gets a good chunk of the ball. His foot rolls over the ball, and then it ends up getting the guy. Which I'm saying, like, is that really a red card? Because a lot of the times the premise is whether or not you get the ball, right? And like I say, he clearly gets the ball. But at the same time, yes, I understand the follow through then becomes a bit of a dangerous issue as far as the player that's being tackled is concerned. So it seemed like a very like gray area, right? Which I think like it's a bit unfair on the player's side, but it's also a bit of a catch-22 on the referee side because it's like, hey, I don't know, bro, because you got the ball, but you also hit the player. So it's a very tricky one.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing, right? I feel like two of the red cards Casemiro has gotten this season are very subjective. I mean, firstly, it's the one from today. And then if you remember the other one from the poor man's Kevin De Bruyne, Crystal Palace, what's his name? Hughes or whatever, that ginger guy, or the albino. The one, yeah, it's a poor man's Kevin De Bruyne. The one he strangled the guy. Bro, he did not even strangle the guy. He just put his hand like this. If you look at it from behind, he's not holding him like this. Like his hands are like this. And then it's a red card. I'm like, I've seen a worse. I think he's becoming a victim. He's honestly becoming Shaka 2.0.
Who was the ref? Who was the ref in that match? Who was the ref in that first
I
match?
am not sure.
Anthony Taylor. The same
Oh,
guy the same guy that I hate that guy, but he's like he's so daft, man. He doesn't ref like he understands football. I don't know. It's like it's like those theoretical professionals where they like wanna implement the book to the team. He doesn't apply his mind. Like whenever that guy goes for like the VAR, I know that your team is gonna get the negative of that result. Like I don't know, every time, right? Whenever it goes there, I just know that guy is just gonna give the negative of that result. And the thing is, it shows that how weak of a ref that he is, that he makes mistakes all the time when he makes the first decision. He has to be corrected all the time. I don't know how many times it happened in this match. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, that guy. But yeah, I think it can be given. Like if that happened to my player, I would have said it's a red card. So I understand it is a red. Starts up and it's dangerous. Like starts up could have injured that guy. You just look at the intent, not the intent, but the outcome that could have happened from that result. I think that's enough to judge the what it should be.
Okay, so just to conclude this Man United game, I'm Man United still in the title race, or I'm Man United in the top 4 race?
Top 4.
Top 4.
Top 4. Okay. So
top
in a
4.
space of 2 weeks, you went from title race to top 4.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the margins are so fine, right? Like, it's so like crazy how quickly you can go from a title race to top 4, because I genuinely think they were in a title race before Liverpool, right? And then just like two bad results, really, a draw and a loss. And this is why, like, draws, I hate draws. And as crazy as it sounds, sometimes I'd rather lose than draw, because like 1 point in the greater scheme of things, it doesn't make much of a difference to me. So yeah, like 2 games, and all of a sudden Man United are 16 points behind Arsenal. Fine, they've got a game in hand, but like 16 points on the board behind Arsenal, which is like a huge mountain to climb with just 11 games to go, you know? So yeah, man, a lot can change in the space of a week or 2.
With that being said, right, do you think this is the most difficult Premier League campaign we've ever seen? Because in the same breath, if Arsenal loses 2 games in 2 weeks, they are not in the title race anymore.
Yeah, so I think Man City or Pep has made the league so tough to win that you need minimum 90 points to win the league, right? And you can still get that 90. You can still get, how much did Liverpool get? Liverpool got 97, like 2 seasons ago.
97, yeah.
And still did not win the league, right?
Yeah.
So I think Pep has just put the standard like so high that you cannot afford, like, even like you can maybe afford 1 blip in a season, 1, 2 tops maybe, because I think Arsenal have only had two blips this whole season, which is amazing, really, if you think about it, you know, in the so-called toughest league in the world. 3 blips in this league with Pep here, the league can be over. Like, it's late.
Devo,
you know,
what do you think?
So yeah, sorry, Devo, I'll give you. So to answer your question, it is the toughest season, but so was last season, so was 2 seasons. Like, just since Pep has been, like, and this is what I'm saying. It would have been really interesting to see Sir Alex in this time, because I do think he's arguably the greatest Premier League manager for sure. But I mean, to be fair, he was winning the league with 80, 85 points, you know, kind of thing. So would he do it where he needs minimum 95 points? I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't want to entertain Ndowazo with his last part, because that's another conversation for another day.
Okay, maybe it's weird logic, right? But don't you think if you need more points, it means you are like if you can get to 99, like, how many less competitive teams than you are there in the league? Like, how dare you beat so many teams in a league for you to say that it's competitive? It means that, like, you're head and shoulders above the rest, you know, when it comes to the league. Because for 2 teams to get 99, 100 points, what's that? Like, just remember those 2 seasons actually when Liverpool and Man City were like going toe to toe. It was against a very weak Man United and a weak Arsenal, you know, and then like Chelsea, even Chelsea. So they weren't really facing, like, you know, very tough competition at the top. All these teams that were giving them competition were not really at their level. Tottenham, you know how Tottenham is. But I agree with your point that this season, I think it's more competitive because Arsenal are not having it their way. Man City are not
True.
having it in their way. And even if people say Man City have gone down, they still have the top goal scorer in the whole of Europe with like 27 goals. And they've outscored each and every team in the league. And Man United are better this season. So this season I agree with you that it's more competitive. I just think, yeah, we may think like Pep has definitely pushed the envelope, but you must also remember that last the seasons that he's won the league he's only competed with one strong team. These other two, Man United and Arsenal, either they were rebuilding or they just had poor output of players. So
that's the same with Fergie, though. But sorry, man. But Fergie's same thing. Fergie was either competing with Arsenal in the early 2000s or with Chelsea, Mourinho after Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea, and then that happened for a little while. Then who else came on the scene? Okay, and then Man City got their money, and then Liverpool once or twice. So even in Fergie's dominance, I don't think there's ever a time where it was like a 3 or 4 horse race. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember a time where it was like a 3-4 horse race. It has always a 2 horse race. It was either Man United vs Arsenal, Man United vs Chelsea, Man United vs Man City, Man United vs Liverpool once or twice.
And it shows you, the variety of challenges that he had to deal with. Started from Leeds, Newcastle.
He's the GOAT.
Arsenal.
He's the GOAT, 100.
Yeah.
That is great. Don't misunderstand me. Sorry,
I
go ahead,
think,
James.
yeah, no. If we go down that will be an episode on its own. Let's talk about Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. Was that a penalty?
By the letter of the law, yes, but soft, it's really soft. But as far as the rules go, there's contact, you know what I mean? But if I'm a ref, I don't give that personally. But yeah, it is okay.
I hate this thing that when it's in the penalty box, it looks different. Like anywhere outside the box, that could like be maybe an advantage. Because you saw after he tackled him, it was advantage to Man City. Then they gave a penalty. Like anywhere else. But if it's in the box, to your point though, because there was contact and it's in the box, it does apply. But I wouldn't have given
fine. I'm saying if you guys are saying it's a penalty, according to the book, can they keep the same energy, apply the same consistency in every game? That's all I want. Because I have seen Arsenal get cheated repeatedly for such things. I have seen Man United also get cheated for such things.
Man United got child today.
Dude, that guy literally, that's why I don't understand, guys. What is a natural position, bro? Like,
yeah,
what's a natural position? I don't understand. Like, what's a natural position of your hands? Like, I don't understand what's natural and unnatural anymore. Because literally, this guy, he falls on the ground. He falls on the ground and he controls, like, he sort of like, it's not like he fell and then the ball hit him. He fell and he blocks the ball with his hands. So, like, how is that natural?
I don't know, right? Because I've also seen much earlier in the a penalty was given. I'm not sure which game it was, but I think it was Arsenal Gabriel. You know how when wingers cross balls, right? When as a center back, obviously facing whoever that's crossing the ball, but your hands are behind your bum, are behind your bum. And then Gabi jumped. Ne? And when he jumped, he's jumping to head out the ball because he thought it's going up. And then the ball hit his hands while they behind him. And they gave that as a penalty. And I was like, I'm done with the rules. After that day, I was like, I'm done. This thing is so subjective.
Mina, dude, can they just go back to saying when the ball touches your hand, it's a handball? Finish.
Yes.
Forget this unnatural. When it touches your hand, it's a handball. But what's like that's the most logical thing. Handball, the ball hit your hand, not unnatural. What? That's like subjective. Now, a ref must apply biology, whatever, in his mind that hey, that's an unnatural. It's bizarre.
Anyway, gentlemen,
has been a controversial rule since I've started watching football. Like handball has always just been controversial.
Yeah,
it won't stop.
Yeah. Anyway, gents, and then I just want to speak about one last game. I don't want to go through all the game. Actually, two. Actually, three. Let's actually start with the Spurs one quickly. So Spurs finally won. And this is them coming from crashing. Yeah, they crashed out of the Champions League. So they actually needed this win. Harry Kane delivered. I'm happy for him. But the question is, does Harry Kane still sign that contract?
I think you might as well, bro. Like Kane should have left 2 years ago, right? He should have left 2 years ago. He decided to stay, whether or not it was his decision or they held his family hostage and told him that he mustn't go, I don't know. But like at this point, and I think we spoke about this on another episode, it's like you must choose, do you want a statue outside of Spurs Stadium, or do you want 1 or 2 Premier League trophies, maybe a Champions League trophy? The one thing is certain, or one thing is more likely than the other, in my opinion. He's more likely to be, I think he already is a Spurs, like, great, maybe arguably the greatest player of all time. So, like, might as well just stay, break Alan Shearer's record. You've already broken the Spurs record, top goal scorer, break Shearer's record, break the Premier League record. Just, like, create a record that no other Spurs player will beat. Let them build a statue for you or name one of their stands after you, whatever, and just have that legacy. And yeah, like a Premier League, like I said it last time, some of the worst players have won Premier League and Champions League. It doesn't mean that much, in my opinion. So
here's the funny thing, right?
I
was actually watching something where Henry was asked the same question, Thierry Henry. And Thierry Henry put it simply. He said, if I am Harry Kane with that much talent and I stay at Spurs, having not won anything and I'm scoring so much goals, I would not be able to sleep at night. He literally just said that. And I thought about the fact that, the statue. And he's like, bro, I have a statue. But I still left to go win the Champions League.
Yeah.
So for me, that's not a winner. Harry Kane is not a winner. That's what he basically said.
Thanks for raising that point. Like, Andre also left when like there was legendary status in the stars for him. Yeah. Guys had just moved to the Emirates. Was already all-time leading goal scorer. He could also like chase down and beat Alan Shearer's record. Then he just thought to himself, I don't have Champions League. And I'm left with 2 or 3 seasons at the... And the funny thing, he actually came back to Arsenal when he went to MLS to go play for Arsenal, and they welcomed him as a legend. I know we did say legendary status, having a statue, but to think about it, Kane will always be a legend in in Spurs like eyes. Like I think he's already a legend. I think he's ticked the box. All-time
Yeah.
leading goal scorer for Spurs. I think that box has been ticked. It will be fair because Spurs don't look like they have that impetus to challenge. They don't seem like they're gonna invest. They seem like they're behind. They're always gonna compete and do top four. I don't think they have enough for the next level because Conte might go as well.
Yeah.
And Conte is like the last big coach that they're gonna get ever again. I don't think they'll get such a stature. Don't tell me about Pochettino. I don't think Pochettino can fight him.
Luis Enrique, apparently.
Who?
Luis Enrique under Spurs, bruh, under Levi. Ah, Sugar.
Won't work.
It
But you
will.
know
That's the
the funny thing Henry also said. He said, I left at a time where I wasn't really at my prime. And I still went to a team with a whole Ronaldinho, a Samuel Eto'o, and a Messi. And people said I'll never play, but I forced my way in. Guys, I think you just have to have this. People are different. I think Kane is happy with being all-time goal scorer. It's legend status. I think, and that's fine. We shouldn't judge him for that. But they are just people who are just competitive. And maybe he's just not that person. And that's fine.
Mm. I have a suspicion that he will not hit the same heights at a big team. I have a suspicion that it's just tailored to Tottenham. Sure, he scores for England, but I feel like, if he's that, I think he stayed too long, man. I don't know. Maybe he could be like a Andre. I rate him as a striker, but I just have a suspicion that, hey, yeah, he just needs a
We'll
team.
never know.
But hey, apparently
Anyway.
Man United want him.
Yeah, buy him. Buy him. I think it might work for you guys. Still get whipped. Anyway, 7-0.
It will be 7-7-2, 7-4 now.
So, guys, I need us to talk about Chelsea. I know this past episodes will be saying Graham Potter, Chelsea, blah, 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 blah. The truth is, they're grinding out results now. It may not be the best football in the world. They are grinding out results. Has the dynamic changed? What are you guys thinking? Should Potter still be out? I still believe Potter in. Should start on the bench. What are you guys thinking?
Ish.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think he will get it right eventually, if given time. But yeah, I think it's gonna take long for Chelsea to be like, the world beaters that we know Chelsea to be. They're just gonna be competitive. I think give him 2 more seasons. What next season is gonna fight for top 4. But I wouldn't say they're on the right track. They didn't boss like Leicester. Leicester are really poor. They just, did their best. But yeah, I don't think,
Okay.
they're just competitive.
Here's a caveat, right? Chelsea have won the Champions League twice. Chelsea beat Borussia Dortmund to go through. Yes, in the league, they're number 10. Do you think they can win the Champions League?
Well, they can. Champions League, but luck of the draw. Big teams are Bayern Munich beat PSG. Real Madrid is beating Liverpool. Man City. We'll see. Like Man City will get Madrid, and then Bayern will get maybe Napoli. Then they'll get like a weak team.
Benfica.
The Benfica.
I don't
It can
think they
happen.
will, right? Yeah, but I think one thing that those 2 Chelsea teams had in common, the ones that won the Champions League, is that they were both very hard to beat, right? So in as much as they weren't like great teams in the league or whatever, in the Champions League, they were just hard to beat, So this Graham Potter team, they've got some talented players, but I don't think they are hard to beat. So like I watched the game against Leicester, and Leicester are awful. Like Leicester is trash, right?
Yeah.
And Leicester like threatened. You know what I mean? Like Leicester could have easily scored 2 more goals themselves. So I mean, as soon as they play a decent team, and look, Dortmund is doing well in Bundesliga, but yeah, they also have their own things. But yeah, I don't see the same resilience in this Chelsea team that I saw in the pre because those I remember even this one, the one that Tuchel won. I think I called it from like quarterfinal. I was like, "Fuck, Chelsea are going to win the Champions League," because I could
Yeah.
just tell like it was just that team that like it's hard to beat them. Like they're not amazing, but they're just difficult to beat.
Yeah.
And in like a cup competition, it's like a once-off thing. Like it suits a team like that. So this Graham Potter team, like to be fair to me, still figuring things out, which is fine. But Champions League, I think, is a bit of a stretch, in my opinion.
Okay, without wasting any time, we're left with a minute or so. Let's just move on from Chelsea. Time will tell. We'll see where they land up. Last game, Fulham versus Arsenal. Arsenal winning 3-0. Hazard getting a hat-trick of assists in the first half. First player apparently made history with that, which is quite interesting. Any thoughts, Tebo? I won't offer any thoughts. You know my thoughts.
Yeah. Like you guys are doing a good job of chasing this down. Yeah. I don't know. You guys are modest in saying Champions League, but I think you guys are taking it to the wire.
Hey, bro, we just want top 4. Nothing else.
Please.
Please, that's all we want, top 4.
Guys, it's okay. It's okay to be hopeful and then be disappointed. It's fine. It's
No.
football.
We've done that
Don't
for years.
don't don't be modest here. I know in your heart of hearts you like hoping that you win the league. There's no way you are top of the log, 11 games to go, 5 points ahead, telling me about top 4. Nigga, please.
Hey, bro, we want top 4. Anyway, guys, thanks for having us today. We're going to close off. See you sometime next week. I'm looking forward to everything. Cheers.
Just
Sure.
Ciao.